some of you know. Vanakkam. As some of you know, I'm Balaganesh. I come from Auroville, Pondicherry, India. And the dog that you said before is my dog. She's Cookie. And we live in the in the international town of Auroville. I'm a founder of Bala Yoga School. We offer yoga. We offer TTCs, teacher trainings, and yoga retreats in Auroville, Pondicherry. Because Auroville is an international town, we have 3,000 people from 58 nationalities living together as a community since 52 years. And I come from Tamil Nadu. It's the southernmost part of India, where traditions has been in place for thousands and thousands of years. And then since the last 6-7 years, I'm teaching yoga. And while teaching yoga, because I used to live in Netherlands, so I have seen body in a completely different perspective because of that. For example, in some traditions, they consider body as a sin. For example, body is an extension of a sin or something like that. But in yogic tradition, and in all of the esoteric Eastern philosophies, yogic tradition gives our body as much importance that it gives to the enlightenment part of it. Because without a physical body, we are called ghosts. So we need to keep this physical body fit and healthier so that the soul can reside in this body. And that is why yogic traditions always calls our body a temple or a mosque or a church or anywhere where a divinity resides. Yeah, because we come from India, I use the word temple, and there is a very nice connection between our body and the temples that you will see in southern India. The southern India architecture has a very distinct architecture. The North India should have had a similar temples, but because of history, many things that has happened in the history, we were not in a position to really connect back. But in southern India, we have scriptures that dates back to 1,000 years, and how they are connecting it to the body is part of this discussion. And also in yogic tradition, we talk about not just this physical body that you see, we are also going different layers of body. We call this koshas, sheath. So these are the two major conversations that we are going to have, so that we can see our body from a different perspective, from a perspective of not abusing, from a perspective of like this is an extension of a sin. We are going to look at this body as you would walk into this beautiful churches, beautiful mosque or beautiful temple, because you see the first thing when you think about any spiritual place is the beauty. It's about the calm. It's about the tranquility that you can feel in this building, in this structure, in this divinity space. Imagine if you start considering your body as such temple, you will exhibit that tranquility, that spirituality that you will see in a synagogue or a mosque or a church. Yeah. So we just by instead of looking at this body as a machine, we wanted to leave that perspective, and we wanted to take another perspective so that we can see it from a perspective in a collaborative way. Because our mind has to work, our soul has to work, but the only apparatus that we have is our body. And that is one of the reasons in yogic traditions, body is given so much importance. I'm sure most of us know as asana yoga, where you do asanas and then you have like a happy, healthy body. You see, so that has been the most basic thing on which every other medication and other things falls in place. In yogic tradition, we call this body as one of the poems reads like this: I see this body if I look at this body as just a manifestation of 5 elements, I don't see the God that is residing. I am using the word God because we are kind of used to. You are welcome to use the word nature or divine. But if I'm going to look beyond these 5 elements that I'm composed of, the inner, because if you bifurcate our body, for example, we are made out of earth elements, magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium, all these earth elements. We are made out of water, for example. We are made out of heat. We are made out of earth, water, fire. We are made out of fire, for example. We are made out of space. They say at a quantum level, we are nothing but 99.9999% space. So this physical body is made out of these 5 elements. But if you divide those 5 elements, we are nothing but an atom, for example. When you even go deeper inside the atom, it is the dance between the protons and the electrons, the positive and the negative, the masculine and the feminine, the heat and the day, the night and the day, for example. So we are 2 opposing forces at a quantum level that is dancing. Yeah. So all of us, not only me, not only you, this mobile phone, for example, or any inert object, a book like this, all at the atomic level are made out of just this protons and neutrons and this dance that is happening there. Yeah. So if you go deeper inside of us, you will not see a human body. We are nothing but this form of energy. So it is in this level that yogic traditions goes deeper into this practice. Yeah. So that is why when I started seeing the real who I am. Okay, I'm a man, and I come from India. I have these features. But if I'm going to see only this, I don't see the inner truth that I'm just a form of energy that is dancing. Moment I start seeing me as a divine being, I start seeing everybody in the same manifestation. I don't see you for your color. I don't see you for your gender. I don't see you for your nationality. I don't see you as a book, or I don't see you as anything. I have mutual respect. And then I see that me and you are exactly the same. They are the same star dust. So it is to this level that when you understand the nature of the body, we are in a position to take care of this body. If you go walk into a mosque, if you walk into a synagogue, if you walk into a temple, if you walk into a church, you are not going to dump dirt here and there. You are going to keep the premises clean because you are going to respect the space, and you are going to make it clean. You go with clean clothes. You go with cleaner attitude. Imagine if your body is a temple. If you recognize that, this is where my divinity is staying, it is this dance of this inner Shiva that is staying, I'm not going to put crap on my body. I'm not going to eat unhealthy food. I'm not going to watch Netflix marathon, for example. I'm not going to go out in the sun or go out in the thing. And I take time to clean my body. Like when something is dirty, you go and clean. So in yogic tradition, you go and sweat, for example. You do asana, you do swimming. It's not that you need to do asana. Asanas are amazing, but if you're somebody who likes to do bicycling, who am I to say that is not cleaning you? Like how you clean your temple, you start working on your body. If there is extra weight, you wanted to lose that weight, because you're not going to go to a temple and then give some dirty. You're not going to leave your dirty linen there. Yeah, but you are ready to put poison in our body. Yeah, we are ready to take sugary drinks. We are ready to take the alcohol or any vices. It's not like we should stop immediately, but when you start thinking that, everything that I'm putting inside the body is like going to a temple or a mosque or a church, and then I'm throwing dirt inside my temple. Will we ever do that? Definitely, we are not going to do that. But we are ready to take that sugar sugary drink. We are ready to take that, skip that exercises. We are ready to skip the asana practice. We are ready to do this because we don't understand that whatever we are putting inside, you now have a reference as the temple. To forward my point, I'm going to do a screen share. Can I have a screen share to show you in yoga how in yogic tradition? Thank you, Visa. How in yogic tradition, our temples. If you go inside a temple, we call this agamic temple. Every temple that you go inside follows a certain principle, and how that principle is attached to our body. Yeah, I'm just going to do a screen share. If you look at this, diagram that I'm sharing with you now, if you can see the one on the top, the first line, you can see that we have the vimana, for example, we have the mandapa, we have the bell, we have this cow sitting, and then we have this gopuram, for example. This is how a traditional temple will look like. And the diagram down, for example, the man lying down, you see that all the body parts is in line with the temple positions. For example, if you see, we call them because India we have a lot of gods. So this is one of the gods, and you can see that the gopuram, the entrance to the temple, is the feet. Yeah. And if you really look at any temple structure, if you've been in India, if you've been to Angkor Wat, any of the temple structure, if you see the entrance to the temple is more magnificent, it will be really a beautiful tall structure. It will be really an ornamented structure. And then when you go inside, of course, it's even more beautiful. But the entrance itself is even more beautiful because. In yogic tradition, in Hindu tradition, we consider God as our father, and we are like a young children. For a young children, the only place that we can hold on to our parents is their leg. Imagine you have a small child and you wanted to go away. You know that the kid comes and holds the feet, and this is what is visible for the kid. So that is why, because we as human beings, we are like a child to the God. We are able to hold only to the gopuram, and the gopuram is the most beautiful thing because that is the only thing that we can see. And if you go deeper inside of the diagram, you can see the Muladhara chakra, the seven chakras. The seven chakras in the limb represents all the aspects of a temple. You have this. You have the Muladhara chakra, Swadhisthana, Manipura, and the inner divinity resides as the Sanctum Sanctorum, the idol that we have at the center of a temple, represents the God that is inside of us. You can see clearly from we go outside to inside, and in a chakra system, we go from our Muladhara, which is our base chakra, and we climb up until the Sahasrahara. Yeah. So you can clearly see how yogic tradition defined or able to recognize and tell us that, hey, your body is nothing but a temple. So you work on your Muladhara chakra or you work on your Sahasrahara chakra, you have this organic evolution of where you are going to work on yourself. So this is one of the important points that made me to think every time I bring something that is non-conducive to my body, be it food, for example, be it excess of food, be it some of the thing, or I'm not going to do my asana practice, I consider myself, imagine I would always visualize my body as a temple. I'm not going to put some bad things on a temple. No. So I will not put bad food, or I will not put fatty food or whatever that is. Or when for example, when during a wedding season, you really cannot say no. But when you are eating and coming home, and then you have this possibility to take that excess out of your body. Like when something happens in a temple, you clean them. You are not just going to let it there. So you are, when you bring this body in line, what happens is that you are seeing the reality of who we are. The reality of who we are at the end is the dance of protons and neutrons, electrons, and all this energy that is evolving inside our body, that is the same, that is there everywhere. The whole world is manifested of the same energy. Yeah, and then basically the two drawings are in two different perspectives. And the third eye, the Sahasrahara chakra, and the Anya chakra, and the Sahasrahara chakra. And that is why head and above is always the divine aspects of a human being, and chest and below are the animal aspects of our human being. The combination of these two at the level of our heart, it's where in the heart level, at the level of our anahata, our divinity comes down, and our animalistic nature climbs up, and then we become human. We are divine here, we are in our mind, we are in a subconscious, unconscious world, and at the other end, we are animals. We don't want two extremes. We want to be human, and the possibility to be a human happens at the level of our heart. How open you are, how much open that you become. Yeah. So this is the first topic that I wanted to mention. This blueprint that I'm showing you, for example, is a very traditional agamic temple based on Shaivism. We have 24 different religions in India, and this is one of those religions. Shaivism and Vaishnavism are the main two ones, and I follow the Shaiva tradition, and most of the Shaiva traditions comes into this picture. Joshan, maybe I will answer you towards the end when I finish my second conversation also, so that we can work from there. Yeah. So this is something that I wanted to share with you. How now, whenever you see a body, you don't see a body. You're going to see a temple. You're going to see a temple structure. You're going to see a mosque. You're going to see a church. You're going to see synagogue. You're going to see that it is a place on which the soul is residing, where the nature is residing, the you is residing, where the mind is residing. Yeah. And then the second discussion that I wanted to bring in is, I think most of you might be aware, or some of us are aware, and we are always learning and reading and understanding. Most of the things that I list, for example, when I read this one, I would have read this because I come from a very traditional family. So a temple is part of our culture, and I grew up in this culture, and then I went out and I was living in Europe, and it was always like, I'm not able to put it in my mind, but it was always there in the back. But suddenly, when I was doing my yoga, when I'm doing my asana practice, I was able to now I see why the feet is always considered as a gopuram. Now I understand why the navel is represented by a bull. Now I understand why heart is represented as a beautiful piece. Yeah. So this is so when you see yourself and you see everyone as a beautiful piece of temple, and then you recognize why that building or that temple is in that way, and why this temple is in that way, and why I am in this way. Instead of saying this one does not look like me, this one does not look like me, you start understanding that there are different manifestations of the same aspect. Again, in yogic tradition, so this is the first part. Yeah. And then the second part is the different layers, the different koshas, the different sheets, the different layers that this body is made out of. We are made out of 5 different bodies: Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, and Anandamaya kosha. Koshas means sheath, like layers. Yeah, Annamaya Kosha means the physical body, the kosha, the sheet or the like a covering or a layer on soul that is made out of. Um, I'm going to share one more. So you can see the Annamaya Kosha. So we are not just one body that we are talking about in yogic tradition. We are talking about layers of body. Yeah. So if you start thinking that your body is a temple, and then you have to understand where is the what is the outside of the temple, where is the temple finishes, and what is residing inside of this temple. You can see that we are not just one physical body. Inside and inside and inside, you're going deeper and deeper and deeper, or you're expanding once to other. And that's why sometimes, for example, when you're in the Manomaya Kosha or Vijnanamaya Kosha, you have this, you're able to connect with somebody. Yeah, we go there and we go there. Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha means food, a sheet, the skin, the body that is made out of food. Basically, food means the 5 elements. Through food, we are getting the earth elements, we are getting the water elements, we are getting the fire element, we are getting the space element, we are getting all the 5 elements from the food. So it is this body that we can go bigger and bigger and bigger, or we can get smaller and smaller and smaller. Like if you eat a lot of food, your Annamaya Kosha is getting more, and when you're growing because you're eating a lot more food, so it is a kosha that has direct connection with the kind of food that you're eating. Imagine if the food that you're eating is wholesome, is cooked with love. For example, it's fresh, it's locally sourced, it's seasonal. The elements that goes inside of you is more wholesome, for example, and you create a beautiful, wholesome Annamaya Kosha. But if your intake is sugar laden, processed, and unseasonal, for example, when I was living in Holland, it was during November and December, and I saw in a supermarket mangoes. For somebody who has lived in India for most of his life, for us, mangoes means April, May. It's summer fruit. So when I saw mango in December, I was like, wow, I can eat mangoes in December. I cannot believe this. So I immediately went and bought it. And then I came home and then I was super happy. And then I cut it and then I opened it and then there is no flavor. I said, okay, maybe it's a different kind. And I put that fruit in my mouth. It is just like a piece of paper that I was eating, because it was completely off season. I think they would have stored the fruit like 4 months, 5 months. So I had eaten something, but it didn't went in my body because it is not food. It's not wholesome. So my Annamaya Kosha was not wholesome. I have some defects, and one of this reason why in recent past we have a lot of ailments because of XYZ reason. And one of the important reason is that the food sheet, the Annamaya Kosha itself is not wholesome. You're not eating wholesome food. Yeah. And then the next layer is the Pranamaya Kosha. The Pranamaya Kosha is the kosha or the sheet that is made out of prana. Prana has very in-depth esoteric meanings, but for our discussion, which we are doing, is to the level of energy, to the level of breathing. For example, yeah, if you are able to breathe fresh air, imagine you go into a mountain, you went to a forest, you went for a natural beach. You don't have you can understand that you take a nice long breath and you feel like, I'm fresh. There is this extra energy in your body. You feel wholesome again. You feel this inner body that Pranamaya Kosha is activated. And if you're in a traffic jam, stuck in a traffic jam, you know that the air that you're breathing is not having any prana. It's devoid of all the prana. Yeah, so you can see that your Pranamaya Kosha is weak. It is this weakness, this reduces our immunity, and this is when pathology comes into picture. because all the germs can manifest in us. Because of this, pranamaya kosha, annamaya kosha are not strong enough to support us. So how you get into a prana, how you improve your annamaya kosha? By eating wholesome, by eating fresh, by eating seasonal, by eating local. What is possible for us? We always have to recognize the social and cultural background that we come from. We are product of, we are social animals. So always, I'm not somebody who says you have to eat only vegetarian and you become vegan. Follow wholesome food that's been handed over to you traditionally. All the fast food were not handed over to us traditionally. By eating wholesome food, our Annamaya Kosha is getting stronger. By breathing, by doing pranayama practice, by going to nature, by going to places like this, your pranamaya kosha gets strengthened. So when these two are stronger, our immunity automatically builds up. Manomaya kosha, the third koshas that we have, the third layer of body that we have is manas. Manas means heart, let's say mind. That's like a practical the mind aspect of it, the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind. Yeah, imagine you are watching, you're reading you're watching some television series which has no meaning whatsoever. It's completely having it has very rajasic, as in very yeah, like murder and killing and those kind of things. It goes into your manas, so that kind of gives you all these negative thoughts, all the negative thinking, those kind of things. For example, all the bad thoughts that you have, all this comes from our heart, the manas, the mind kosha. So if you're reading, for example, attending a yoga class, for example, listening to a philosopher, for example, reading about philosophy or embodying philosophy, your mind gets get rid of all these negative thoughts, and then your manomaya kosha gets stronger. But that's one of the reason, like even the quantum of information that we are being bombarded with, our mind is not able to take and process all the information. We are our decision making process are having an issue now, because previously less options, so we don't have to think a lot. Now for every option we have to think like 10 times, 20 times, and then the fear of missing out sets in, FOMO sets in, and then we are mentally in a very disturbed state. Yeah. So the best way for us to have a beautiful Manamaya Kosha is to get rid of all the informations. Go for meditation at least for half an hour, 45 minutes, 10 minutes. You don't want to listen to nothing. You don't want to see nothing. You don't want to read nothing. You don't want to smell nothing. You don't want to taste nothing. You just want to be in this mindful state. That is, start with 10 minutes practice so that you can strengthen your Manamaya Kosha, one more part of your body that you're going to strengthen. And then the wisdom, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha is the wisdom. What is right? What is wrong? Well, so that you are able to differentiate between these two and go deeper and select the right one, and or embody the right aspects of living, so that you really don't have an oscillation between either this or that. You know that when you see things, you manifest what you wanted to manifest. All these strong ones, strong layers of your body brings us to the Anandamaya Kosha, the happy sheet, the innermost layer, the inner child that we are talking about. I think in modern psychology, they talk about this inner child. The inner child is always happy, it's always ready to think, and they are ready to manifest. Children always manifest beautiful things. So Anandamaya Kosha is to feel this inner child, is to let this inner child open, to let go of the cocoon, and then come out and manifest itself into different layers. So these are the 5 layers yogic tradition always talks about our body. So our body is what we see is the Annamaya Kosha. What we don't see, or either inside of us we are manifesting, or outside of us. So it's a microcosm and a macrocosm. So so these are the 2 ways that yoga or yogic tradition, the first one is yogic tradition and a bit of Hindu scriptures that allows us to see the true nature of our body, the true nature of yourself, the true nature of who you really are. If you are seeing yourself as somebody who can manifest this for example, if you need to do a haircut, you go and do a haircut. But if imagine you understand that you have your mind is going on overdrive, what you can do about it? Now you know that you have one layer of yourself, which is mind body, which you need to do something about it. You go to rest, you go to sleep, you refresh it. So you have to do something for your manomaya, for your mind as well. Yeah. So these are the ways in which yoga is allowing us to go deeper inside of us. Once we start seeing this truth in us, that this is where I'm going to see the God, this is where I'm going to manifest God, I start seeing in you. I start seeing in a box. I start seeing in my neighbor. I start seeing on everybody's person. Yeah. These are the two aspects of discussion that I thought that I will put forth for you. So I will be open for thank you, everyone. And the most importantly, for example, I go back again. I wanted to